Hello, Slicey Dicers. This is Brian with another knife review for you, and today we have the Cold Steel Counterpoint XL. Another glorious bit of silliness from Cold Steel. Maybe they don't consider them to be silly. I do know that people actually carry knives this big because whenever I do one of these videos and I call them silly, there's a chorus of comments. I'm sure there will be on this one saying I carry something that big all the time, which is fine. Good on you. I don't, but I still buy them. You're going to see when I get to size comparisons. I've got three that I would put in this silly Cold Steel category. And the best thing that's happened, I think, one of the best things that's happened in the knife world this year is Cold Steel has lowered the price on a lot of them. They make budgety versions. So, like, this is $90. OS 10A Grivery handles. There have been counterpoints before, but they were more expensive and or smaller. And I just like that now with this OS 10A Grivery combo, they're making a lot of these really crazy knives in a price that's in kind of a screw it price where you're like, yeah, it's big and it's silly, but I'm going to get away. This is only $90. Is that cheap? No, but price per inch it's pretty good. If you go by that, it's pretty good. This is over 13 inches long. And only 7.9 ounces. I haven't gotten to the specs yet, but yeah, not too shabby for a knife this huge. Like I said, some people do actually carry these all the time. I'm not one of them. I will around the house and stuff because it makes me smile. But I don't carry them when I'm out of doors and amongst normal people. I don't think that this would go over well if you flip this open at Outback Steakhouse to cut your steak. I think you might get a look or two because it's kind of big. This is going to be really hard to keep all on camera. My camera is zoomed out as far as it goes. And so, yeah, I'm going to be constantly centering it to make sure that the whole thing's on camera. But, yeah, I'm really happy that Cold Steel is doing this and knocking their stuff down to more reasonable prices. Like the Formax Scout is, $110. I think I don't know the price exactly off the top of my head. The Chris Voyager you're going to see shortly is a pretty similar price. But, yeah, these are just fun. And they are finally in a, like I said, screw it price, F it price. You can just get one if you're a true knife nerd and you just want to have something big and silly. You can have one. But let's talk more about this knife. Specs wise, these are 1/4 inch squares. As I said on here, this covers a lot of them. You have an overall length of 13.1 inches, blade length of dead on 6 inches. You have a blade thickness of 0.16 inches. And a weight, as I said, of 7.9 ounces. So not insane. But Grivery is pretty light stuff. Grivery, if you want to know, that's Cold Steel's code word for fancy plastic. What drew me to this was, just like I said, the aesthetics. I love the look of this dagger-shaped blade. I love the look of the kind of classic sort of dagger-looking handle. It's a longer handle because it's folding. I think if this was a fixed blade, probably that handle would stop about there. It does have a reversible pocket clip. It is a very ambidextrous knife for sure. So if you're left-handed, cool. Or if you're right-handed and you want to carry this in your left pocket as a backup, it'll work. Yeah, usual triad lock design. Now let's do some size comparisons. We will bring out, I'm not going to bring out the smaller ones, and this is almost just for giggles, but Benchmade full-size Griptilian. I have to specify that because it looks like a mini here. Your Spyderco Paramilitary 2. And just because I see it in front of me, because I always have it around, because it's another knife that makes me laugh. This is the Boker Kalashnikov XXL. So this is an XL. This is an XXL. Cold Steel laughs at your XXL, because this is still way bigger. But this is an auto, so I think silliness level, we're pretty even here. And now, two knives that are probably much more applicable. That, God, I hope I can fit all three of my camera at once. We will see. We have the Cold Steel Voyager Chris, which is basically a Voyager XL with that wavy Chris blade. And another one I mentioned earlier, the Formax Scout. So yeah, Formax is a big knife. Now, the Formax I do carry. Not a ton, but a fair bit. These two I only carry like around the house, but this one I do leave the house with. The Formax is right at that edge of ridiculous, but still pocketable. Much heavier though. This is 10.2 ounces, where you're only looking at 7.9 for that. And again, I think somebody comment down below if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure these are fairly close to the same price. It's that Austin A Grivery thing, so it's somewhere in that $75 to $110 range, I believe. But let's talk about this like it's an actual knife. So the blade on it, pretty thick blade stock, 0.16 inches. This is the point where I usually say, but it's pretty thin behind the edge. I'm not going to say that. It's 29 thousandths behind the edge. It's obviously a dagger saber grind. So is it a slicer? No. But it is a cold steel, so they come with a really good edge on them. And as I said, their heat treat is awesome. I've never had a problem with this Austin A. I think it's a really good steel when cold steel does it. I've never experienced it in another knife, so I can't really say for sure. I can just say that cold steel's Austin A is pretty good. Like I said, I do actually carry and use my 4Max Scout a fair bit, and it's pretty darn good. It is definitely very stabby. It's a dagger. The top part is not sharpened. You could, I think, but I don't think I would. But maybe something like what SOG does on the Pentagon, where it's just sharpened like from here forward. That might be kind of cool, but I'm not going to do that. But if that would be kind of cool. Very nice sharpening choil. It is. It's a useful-ish blade. It's sharp. It's just not particularly thick behind the edge, and it's very thick blade stock. So it's not going to be a slicer. Ergonomically, I mean, it's great. It's huge. Do you want me to discuss the ergonomics for my right hand or the ergonomics for my left hand? Because, yeah, they both fit. That's one advantage it has over the Voyager. Is the Voyager, if it's an advantage, the way it is, it's like a 2.5 hand. You can see like my ring is like right there on the edge. It's like a 2 1/3 hand. This is a definitely full 2-hand grip, and my hands aren't tiny. I have pretty skinny fingers, but still large-sized gloves and normal human-sized palms. And man, yep, if I needed to, yeah, I can 2-hand grip it all day long. Is that useful? Probably not in most situations, but maybe there is a situation where it's useful. I don't know if you're trying to, knock down an oak or something, but yeah, it is very comfortable, very grippy with the Grivery. It's a very grippy texture Grivery. You'll see in some angles it looks almost like it's like oily or dirty or something. That's just the angle of it, because it's shiny. It's a fairly shiny plastic underneath, so it does kind of catches the light in different ways. I noticed that in photos a lot. It looks like it's oily or something, but it isn't. It's perfectly clean and fine. Yeah, it's ergonomically, I mean, yeah, it's great. It's huge, and it's a simple handle. Of course, it's going to feel all right. Now, how does it carry? Bring out Yale Levi's, which I will say it fits in. And I've only had one pair of my jeans that it doesn't fit in. It's the ones that I'm wearing currently. Actually, I have a couple pairs of American Eagle jeans, and the pockets aren't deep enough. But these are just regular Levi's. I think they're 550 ones, and it fits in just fine. Now the Grivery's fairly grippy, but it's not as bad as like on a Cold Steel Recon 1 or something like that. So it's kind of middle of the road for Cold Steel. But does it take up a lot of room in the pocket? Yes. This is I gotta move it up here so you can see. This is the bottom of the pocket. So it's pretty much every bit. It's pretty much the longest thing you can put in this pocket, unless you move it up towards the front. And then if you had this big giant knife in this area of the pocket, I don't mean to be graphic. I don't want to get demonetized, but yeah, I mean, your zipper would be right here. I don't think you'd really want to walk around with that in your pocket. That's just me. But no, if you put it in the normal spot, it fits. And like I said, it's pretty grippy. But again, I just don't think this is a knife that people are carrying in their pocket a whole ton. And I know people will say I do, but it does carry okay. And you can't get your hand past it and all that. And it's 7.9 ounces. It's not ridiculous. I carry much smaller knives that weigh more than that, and I've kind of gotten used to it. But yeah, in the action, it's kind of that typical big giant Cold Steel. My thumb just slipped off the thumb stud. That is one fault I have with it. The thumb stud is not particularly grippy, but it does bang right out there. I will say, for me, this is absolutely a two-hand close knife. I think it would close without hitting my finger, yeah, if I get up there, but it's a really long reach to get down. See what I mean? If your finger is any farther down than that, if you try and grip this triad lock like you would need to get enough force on it, yeah, you're going to get chopped. So don't do that. And if you want to put your finger up where you're not going to get chopped, it's a really long reach to hit this, and you don't really get much leverage on it. It's a two-hand close knife for me, for sure, but definitely a one-hand open. Takes a little bit of wrist, and like I said, you got to make sure you got your finger on that thumb stud, but it does make a very satisfying thwack, is what I was just going to say. Satisfying thwack when it flies open. But yeah, for $90, yeah, this is just fun. Is it a useful EDC knife? No, but it could, I mean, you could, but it's not my jam for what I want to carry around every day. And I carry some pretty large knives around every day. I mean, I've had, today, right in my pocket. It's not a big knife, but it's not a small one either. I have ZTO 562 tie in my pocket now. I carry Hinderers all the time, even my XM24. So, like, I'm kind of used to big knives, but this is bigger than I would carry, for sure. 6-inch blade. Yeah, it's a whole lot of naff, absolutely, for sure. But the price is in line with the silliness, and that's what I like about what Cold Steel is doing in 2020 so much. These, the other two I just showed you, the Formax Scout and the Chris Voyager, yeah, they're big, silly knives, but they're reasonably priced. And they have other ones, too. There was a Chris version of the Tylite, that was that's around the same price range. Or is, I guess, still around the same price range. Cool. Awesome. Keep them coming. Like, I love what Cold Steel does when they get really, really stupid. And now that they're pricing them so inexpensively, yeah, I will have more. I actually did a video about big knives, and somebody mentioned about getting another big Cold Steel. It wasn't this. And then I searched around and I found this, and I was like, ooh, I really like the look of that. And this is one of the newer ones. So being a reviewer, I want to review one of the newer ones. I'm a fan. I do not regret purchasing this. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I've been Brian. Have a good one.